Welcome to Commander's Comments. I'm your producer for the evening, Harrison. Without further ado, here is our Chief of Heritage Operations, Mr. Ron Kennedy.
Thank you, Moose. We appreciate you being back of the scene there, producing this for us. This is, I think we've got, let's see, June and July. We've got two more of these to do, I believe, and our Commander-in-Chief will be off the hook. He won't have to listen to a Kennedy unless he just, of course, tunes in and listens next year if there's a Kennedy on this air. I want to welcome everyone. We've got a lot of things going on. We've got some good news. And before I introduce our Commander-in-Chief, I just want to give you some. This is global good news. It has nothing to do with the SCV specifically, but I saw on my feed, a news feed today, that in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, there's a certain group. It's sort of turning into much like Detroit or New Orleans East. And that section of the city has been ignoring another section of the city. Their schools it's probably the worst in the state of Louisiana, and Louisiana schools is probably the worst in the country. Sad to say, but the people in the St. George area of what used to be Baton Rouge have been working now for 4 to 5 years to remove themselves from Baton Rouge and create a new city called the city of St. George, Louisiana. And of course, that's very Louisiana, St. George, but even though that's in English. But anyway, nonetheless, we have St. Tammany Parish and all types of saints. But nonetheless, those folks have now won. They had to go all the way to the state Supreme Court to get to exercise their right to withdraw from an organized political entity that was taxing them and using their money for things other than to help the people who were paying the taxes. And that's just a form of secession. And it's very reminiscent to me of another secession movement years ago in which the people of the South were being taxed. And the money was flowing out of the South to people up north who were using it not to benefit the whole country, but to benefit themselves. And the South seceded, and that was the main reason we seceded. But this shows that secession is a good answer to some issues. And the thing that the news media inadvertently pointed out was that the secession of St. George from Baton Rouge, although they didn't call it a secession, and I'm sure the people in St. George wouldn't call it a secession, but nonetheless, we all know what it is. It puts a warning on other municipalities so that they'll say, look, we can't mistreat a section of the population. St. George was a voting minority in Baton Rouge, and the majority was taking advantage of them. So that's why they pulled out. Well, now other municipalities around the state will look and say, wait, we don't want that to happen to our city. And so the threat of secession encourages compromise and goodwill between the parties in order to stay together and work together for the mutual benefit of the whole. So I'm excited about that. I just wanted to share that with you. And Commander, I'm sorry, but anytime I see something like that, I just want to share it and shout from the rooftops that there is hope in America yet. I do think, despite what we see on our headlines every day, I do think things will turn around. We can win this fight. And we can't win the fight without good leaders. And we've got one of the best, Commander-in-Chief Jason Boshers. What's going on at national headquarters?
Mute myself. How about I unmute myself? What do you say there, Mr. Kennedy? I'm sure happy to hear you report those news. It's nice to know that secession is live and well and has been accepted. Now, you might not want to call it that, but
it is what it is.
It is what it is. And I am thrilled to hear that. What they had were great grounds for secession. Absolutely. And we know that because, well, we know what happened in the 1830s, 40s, and 50s. That's and right. Yes, sir. And I am happy to hear that. And thank you for reporting it. I had not heard that. Well done. The first thing I want to do is we do have a schedule to work off of, but I'm going to skip on down to number 2 and talk about the SCV donation page, because we need to talk about the relief fund. And I'm going to ask Mr. Kennedy if he will speak on the need for the relief fund and what he just went through or witnessed.
Yes. Thank you, Commander. I was hoping you'd wait so they wouldn't have to listen to me. All of the first 5 minutes, we're going to end up losing part of our audience.
No, we're great. We're great, because we need to talk about this.
We just let's see, my Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief Kennedy, Walter D. Kennedy, the not quite as good-looking twin brother, and myself and J.C. Hanna, Army of Trans-Mississippi Commander. We went up to Shawnee, Oklahoma, had a great ride up. I love Oklahoma. My in-laws were from, some of my in-laws were from Oklahoma. My wife graduated from college, OSU, that's Oklahoma State University. So Oklahoma is almost like a second home to me. But as we went up, we were in our hotel rooms. We had this sheet of paper that gave us the warnings of what to do in the event of a tornado. And I told Don, I said, you don't see that very often. Even down in Louisiana, we have tornadoes. You have them in Tennessee. But Oklahoma, Nebraska, the panhandle of Texas, all that's what we call an insurance tornado alley. But nonetheless, we got away from there before the tornadoes hit. They had some major damage in Oklahoma. I talked to the new commander of Oklahoma, Mr. Jeff Polk, and he said that as far as he knew, no SCV member had suffered damage. But I reminded him about the relief fund, that we have it in order to help out and whatever the disaster is. And of course, those of us on the East Coast, especially Florida, that's got East Coast and the Gulf states, we're looking at June, and we're going to start hurricane season again. So my point is, please, folks, remember the relief fund. Hopefully none of our members or families will have suffered this year, but if they do, we are a band of brothers. This is a brotherhood, and we want to be able to help our friends out when and if something happens. So far everything looks good in Oklahoma as far as our membership suffering damage. I haven't heard anything else from Commander Jeff.
And thank you for that. Thank you for bringing it to people's attention. If you'll think about what we've been through, or what our organization's been through the past couple of years, what are the members of our organization. Kentucky has had several rounds of horrible weather up there, in which they had damage. And the thing about it is, those Kentucky boys stepped up and started taking care of each other and started helping each other. And that's what we have to do. Now, there's, as you know, like he said, we've got the Gulf, we got the summer coming. There's tornadoes. I've heard of flooding in Louisiana, in which I think I heard earlier today that some interstates have been flooded out.
Yeah.
Wasn't that true in Louisiana?
No, that was in Texas, I believe. Houston,
in Texas,
what I understood. But I haven't seen anything. I just heard someone from that area say that.
Okay. But go to the scv.org, and you'll notice that there's a donation page. If you go to that scv.org, on the right side is a battle flag, and it has donate. Click on that. There's a number of things on there that you can contribute to. The relief fund is one of them. Now, these you can make a one-time donation, or you can set up to have something come out monthly. If you wanted to do that, you can set it up for all of these. This is an opportunity for you to contribute to what you want to contribute to. You know, if this relief, because let's just say that you've been through a disaster. We had a gentleman down in Lawrence County last year who tornado come through and just leveled everything. They had to go and cut the trees off of the cellar to be able for him to get out. They lost everything. Nobody got hurt, but they lost everything. And that was an opportunity for everybody to step up and help each other. And if that's what's important to you, then contribute to that. Let's just say that Forest Last Ride and putting the equestrian statue that is King Philip with Nathan Bedford Forrest on top. Let's say that's a priority for you. You can contribute to that as well. Let's just say Elm Springs, the antebellum home that was built started building in 1835 and finished in 1837. And you know the work that we're doing there. If you don't know, then you need to come and see the property. And if you say, well, I can't come see the property, then jump on SCV chat on the last Monday of the month. Mm-hmm. And that is when we will have Hearth and Home. And that is when our executive director, Adam Southern, will give you up to dates on everything that is going on inside the museum and inside the home. And if you've listened to him and heard any of this or have been there, you know that we're putting the home back to the 1840s time frame, which means we're painting, instead of those white baseboards that it's always been, we found some original gold color and we're putting that gold color on there. We found original wallpaper. We're trying to match that as close as we can. We have a match. But if you've been in that house, that's a huge room to go in, and it's going to take a lot of rows of wallpaper to cover those walls. So if that's what's important, you can contribute to that. We've got Heritage Promotions. As you know, an ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. And this is what Heritage Promotions is about. Heritage Promotions is about getting out in front of it. It is proactive, not reactive. It is getting out there and getting things done so they never get started. If they never get started, you never have to fight them.
That's right.
And if you have a good active camp out there working, you have Heritage Promotions every time there's an event because they're out there making it happen. Would you like to speak on that, Mr. Kennedy, since you are Chief of Heritage Operations?
Well, I was just going to tell you to keep preaching. I'll turn the pages. You're doing a fine job on it, but absolutely proactive work. And Donald and I and the Commander-in-Chief and past Commanders-in-Chiefs have especially in the last 6 years, we've really concentrated on the fact that, you know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You know, the fact that we can win in the court of public opinion where we can't always win in the courtroom, and it's cheaper to win in the court of public opinion. Mm-hmm. And that helps us gain membership. And that's that too is so very important. And it also helps us retain members because the members see that, wow, this is a movement. This isn't a couch potato club. This is a movement, and we're actually getting something done. So if you can get out ahead of them, you can prevent a lot of the problems that we have. But even if it doesn't prevent, because that's the idea, is we want to prevent them from ever, you know, that board of supervisors or that county commissioners or the mayor council, that when they get that request to remove a monument, they look at it and say, no, we're going to table that. We're not even going to discuss that. That's what we're aiming for. But if you don't get that far, even if they do start to take it down, if you've got the public behind you, you've got a much better chance of winning in the court. You've got a much better chance of having a positive jury selection. You just got a lot of things going in your favor, especially in those parishes, counties, states where the judges are elected, because they look and see which side has the most potential for causing me harm if I rule against them. Now, I know that's not the way things ought to be, but unfortunately, that's the way things are. And we've got to do our job. And I'm preaching to the choir. I will hush. Go ahead, Commander.
Oh no, you're right. I was getting ready to flip a page. I was waiting on you. I was going to turn a page for you, because you're exactly right on all of that. And we talk about this every time we come on here, because it is so important. That piece is. Now, on this relief fund, let's just say that education is important to you. We have the Stan Waddy Scholarship Fund.
Mm-hmm.
You can contribute to that. Then, of course, there's the Confederate Legion. That is another entity in which you can contribute to. And if you want to speak on the Confederate Legion, you can. I'll leave it up to you.
Well, I just want to say, not only when you give your $50 to join the Confederate Legion, it's not just a donation, because we're going to use 90% of that money to buy radio ads, to print Dixie Defenders, to help local camps and local divisions and state divisions out. But the important thing is that you are part of this organization that's really doing this. It's sort of like the stormtroopers, or we're the shock troops, we need your $50 to join. And we hope that, by the way, we'll have a heritage luncheon. I hope to see a lot of Confederate Legion members there. But again, you can join for a $50 donation.
And you're right. Here lately, we have reworked some of that. We've got a new certificate that goes out. You've got a card that goes with it. I've been doing those, and I got a brand new one today. Miss Cindy sent me one, so we have a brand new member today. So the Confederate Legion, just so you know, to mail you your certificate and all of that, it's $1.63 or $1.68. Depending on how all of that fluctuates out, where it's going, that kind of thing. So, so that's minimum cost. And you're probably looking at, by the time we print the membership card and all that, you're talking under $2. So by the time, if you make a $50 donation, there's $48 that's available out there that, believe me, the Kennedys will put it to use. They're just looking for opportunities. And that is where you getting out in your community. You getting out in your community, you getting out there, you getting active, people get to know you, that will create opportunities. It's called networking. If the people in your community don't know you, they've never heard of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, don't know anything about you, whatever. Well, when the threat comes, you don't have a fan base. Mm-hmm. You have to build a fan base. This is the Sons of Confederate Veterans going out and building a fan base. Absolutely. So that when something does happen, word spreads quick. So these are all opportunities and opportunities for you to contribute to. We have artifacts. If you're interested in that, you can contribute to it. And then last but not least, we have the Nathan Bedford Forrest Boyhood Home, which the SCV runs. That is in Chapel Hill, Tennessee. Just wanted to cover all of that just to let everybody know that, yes, there are ways you can contribute. Now, I'm going to segue into something. That's the reason why I wanted to cover this. The segue is this. I can't give that much money, but I'm a good woodworker. Okay? Make something. You're good at that. Donate it and have it brought to the national reunion and have it auctioned off with you saying who it goes to. We have several members who have done this. The first one that comes to mind is Victor Smith down in Florida, who makes the tumblers. He's made these tumblers. I've bought one of them at auction. Other people have bought them at auction. That's your talent. Your talent is to be able to create something and make something. Then do it, bring it to national reunion and allow us to auction it off. and you can state what you want that money to go to. So don't feel like I've got to open my checkbook every time. If your hobby, let's say, is making woodwork, like I say, you make bowls or something like that, make some. Bring them to National Reunion and we'll auction them off. So just thought that I would say it's not always you cracking open your checkbook or your wallet. There's always for all of us to contribute. And that's just another way to do it. Now, if I'm right, we just finished Confederate History Month. And during next Confederate History Month, I went to the national event in Mansfield, Louisiana. And I want to say this. I was amazed at the place. That Mansfield battlefield is incredible. And if you have any opportunity to go there and support that battlefield, go. They were extremely receptive to us being there. And they were so good to us all weekend. When we were setting up, when we had the event, the battlefield is incredible. And you are on the battlefield. And they would talk about, see that spot over there, that low spot over there? That's where Mouton fell. And you can walk to where Mouton fell. I mean, how humbling is that? When you realize, and you studied any about the Bible, when you study and you start and you just have it, and then you go there and you realize you're standing on the battlefield, and you realize what happened there, and you realize just how well the Confederates fought that day. It was there. It was just an incredible battle, the credible place. They had a great deal. J.C. Hanna did a great job helping to orchestrate it. I know there were some ladies behind the scenes, Caitlin coming to mind, who helped put all of this together. She did a great job. And Brian, your Louisiana Division Commander, Brian McClure, did a fantastic job. He did. He made a donation from the Louisiana Division camp and issued challenges out there. And as you know, a lot of reunions happen in April. Tennessee Division, which was my division, was this past weekend. Went there and told them they'd been challenged. And the division responded. They gave a donation, good donation. And Louisiana gave a great donation. And then camps were coming up because I said, this camp, Brian McClure's camp, they issued a challenge. Here you go. And camps were responding. So it all started in California. Now, California was back in March. But California stepped up and said, we're going to do this and we're going to challenge. And they did. And since then, Louisiana, I know Louisiana has not had their division reunion. That's not to the third weekend in May. But they took advantage of this opportunity to go ahead and step up and make a donation.
Yep.
And that's huge for Louisiana. And I thank Louisiana for that. And I thank the camp Brian McClure is in for stepping up and making their donation. And they said it. We're challenging the others. So I got the Tennessee Division to say it. And the Tennessee Division in unison said, we're challenging all others. So you have been challenged. So I want to thank Louisiana for all the things they did. And if you go to Mansfield, okay, go to Mansfield and then take the 15-minute ride down to Pleasant Hill and go to where the Pleasant Hill battlefield is, and then go to where the memorial that was removed at Shreveport, go there and visit that. It looks like it was supposed to be there. I had not seen it since it had been moved, but it looked like it was supposed to be there. Well done, Louisiana.
Yeah, it's a beautiful memorial. But I want to make sure everyone understands that the national event at Mansfield was a national event. Commander-in-Chief Boshers have challenged everyone, because we've all been, not all, but a lot of us have been lucky enough to go to the Army of Tennessee event in I believe it's Army of Tennessee. Georgia's in Army of Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Georgia's Army of Tennessee.
I'm thinking, well, North Carolina, South Carolina, it's a little different there. But anyway,
Yes, Georgia's an Army of Tennessee.
In the national event at Stone Mountain. So
Yes.
Commander Boshers challenged the other divisions to come up with one. So we had at the Mansfield Park, we had people from a lot of Texas folks, because a lot of Texas folks
really
fought there.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, there were several units with Hispanic Texans there, Texas people, soldiers there at the battle. And I believe one of them, I believe his name was Gonzalez, but that's sort of like Smith and Jones. And, Gonzalez but I believe he was a lieutenant or a captain that died at Mansfield. But we also had people. I met one guy in Oklahoma who had come down to the meeting. So, we had representation from the Trans-Mississippi, as well as some folks from the state of Mississippi come over, and probably some others that I am unfortunately leaving out. But the important thing that it wasn't a Louisiana event. It happened to be held in Louisiana, just like Stone Mountain is held in Georgia, but it was for the Army of Tennessee event. I believe the Army of Northern Virginia, are they planning something?
They've talked about it, but nothing has officially happened. The Georgia Stone Mountain happened again, but Army of Tennessee, they have planned their own event up in Fairview, Kentucky, which is the second weekend in June.
That's right.
And that is going to be at the Jeff Davis place up there in Fairview, Kentucky. And we can talk about that in a little bit later. But yes, there was great representation. I saw some Missouri boys there. It really was a good representation. And just to be there on the battlefield.
Yeah.
That's not, I'm guessing, okay, that is not a often visited state park.
Right. And remember, it is a state, not a national park. So the people of Louisiana have a much better opportunity to maintain that battlefield and show the respect that our ancestors deserve. The national park, we just won't get into that right now. I just don't want to lose my religion this late at night.
Yes, sir. I understand. It is a state park. They get their funding off how many people go. So when you go, make sure you register. Right. Go in there, visit with them, and register and talk to them. And if you can make a little donation, help them out, make that. I'm going to leave that up to you. But the place, you're on the battlefield. And, come out of the parking lot, come out of the building, hang a right, walk down the slope, and that's where Mouton fell.
And when we do, most people, they may not know, but after the Battle of Mansfield, we chased the Yankees down to Pleasant Hill, and there was another battle about a couple of days later at Pleasant Hill. We reenact. I say we. I got out of reenacting when I got this old, but we reenact, or the reenactors do that battle every year, and that's on the exact battlefield where it occurred. So that's a real thrill to know, and it's privately owned property. So, and the owners allow us to reenact, and so that is a thrill to know that you're actually stepping on the ground that our soldiers stepped on when they pushed the Yankees out of northwest Louisiana.
All of that was all part of the Red River campaign. Am I correct on that, sir?
That's correct.
All righty.
And Dr. Sandy Mitchum is the world's expert on the Red River campaign. So don't ever let him start talking about it. He's as bad as the Kennedys about, hogging the mic.
I tell you, I've read a couple of his books, and he is a great read. He really is. And he's become one of my favorite authors. And I love talking to him, by the way. It wasn't a national event, but last year it was, and that was Stone Mountain. They had that this past weekend. I wasn't able to go to it. I went to my own division reunion. So I understand it was a great event. Chaplain-in-Chief Gary Carlisle was the keynote speaker. Anybody who was able to go to that, I want to thank you for going and supporting Stone Mountain. As you know, there's a lot of things that have gone on with Stone Mountain over the last few years, and we ended up having a victory there. If you remember, a couple of months ago, they were able to shut down one of the votes and keep something from happening. So keep Stone Mountain, and that's going to be, from what I understand, that's going to be an every year thing. So they're going to keep that going, and I think that's a great thing. The division reunions, I know some of them have happened. I went to South Carolina. South Carolina had a great reunion. They had a great turnout. Business meeting went very well. Great group of guys there. And I want to thank South Carolina for allowing me to come there and then allowing me to leave. You know, because sometimes you wonder, hey, how's this going to go? But no, I'm joking. They were really a great group of guys and had a great time with them. They did had a very good reunion. And I know there's some others coming up. I've got a few more that I'm going to be visiting. And I know we have Louisiana that's going to be coming up the third weekend of this month. So if you get a chance to go to your division reunion, go. This is an opportunity for you to know what is going on within your division. There's several people that I have met, and they've said this is my first one. And they were really unsure who their division commander was. They had never, because this was their first trip. You know, they've only been a member a couple of years. They didn't know anything about it, but they came and they had a great time. And it's, if you see a new face, don't be a stranger. If you see a new face, go up and talk to them. Find out what they're about. Find out where they're from, because we need representation at these reunions. Mm-hmm. And I want everybody to be active at their division level. So go to your division reunion if you can. Then, of course, there's so many memorial services that happen during Confederate History Month. The camp I'm in had one, went to several others throughout the month. Mr. Kennedy, did you get out much, or?
No, I've been mainly going to division reunions, so I haven't had too many of the memorial services I could reach.
Yes, sir. I've only been to, I think I spoke at one. Well, I've been to three, and I spoke at two of them. The other one, I got to carry the flag, which was great to be in the honor guard. So, but that's all the memorial services that I was able to make because of the schedule of needing to go and do other reunions. So I want to thank all of the people, all of the camps who hosted events, all the people who hosted, all the people that attended. Make sure that you take some pictures and you send them in to SCV chat for when they do look around the Confederation on Thursday nights. Mm-hmm. First Thursday of the month is our commander's comments, but the other Thursdays are taking care of events that's going on. So I'm going to ask you, if you do something, take pictures of it and send them to scvyouthOutreach@gmail.com. And if you will do that, that will let everybody know, because it is to me, it's motivating to me when I see that other people are doing things. And that's what we are supposed to be here to help each other and support each other. And sometimes just by letting each other know that we're out there doing stuff is a great thing. So thank you, everybody, for that has put those on. Continue to do so. Just because April's Confederate History Month, you don't get an 11th month break now.
No, I saw somebody in the comments said every day is Confederate History Day.
Yes, every day.
But I saw that on there.
Yeah, every day is Confederate History Day, and every month is Confederate History Month. So you don't get an 11-month break. Go do something else, you know. And I think that's all I asked for when I put out that proclamation, was just to go do something. Just go do something. Now, there was something that happened at Elm Springs that was extremely positive. Adam talked about it. Him and I have talked about it a couple of times since then, and I wanted to talk about it again. Last year, we opened up the grounds to Elm Springs for people to come and do prom pictures. We did not charge them anything. So you're talking 16, 17, 18-year-olds coming out there getting their prom pictures made with their parents. Now, last year we had what we thought was a pretty good turnout. We actually stayed pretty busy. We did not advertise this. We did not advertise it. This past, I think it was Saturday night, the Friday night before, Friday or Saturday night before. We had over 250 people come to Elm Springs to take prom pictures. Now, they did not hide from the flag. They were taking pictures where you could see the flag. If you're familiar with Elm Springs, you know you can walk down the driveway from the house and you take pictures, and there's our flag. There's the battle flag. There is our SCV logo flag. And then you have Elm Springs right there in front. And they were taking pictures there. They were pulling their cars in front and taking pictures. They were taking pictures over at Robert E. Lee and over at Jefferson Davis. And they were taken at the museum. We have that big turnaround right there with that mega flag. And you know how these 16, 17, 18-year-old boys are about their cars, okay? They were pulling their cars in front of the flag and getting situated where they could take the picture of their car with the battle flag, with the house, with the museum. Nobody hid from any of this. Parents were there taking pictures, and the parents weren't running from it or making comments. Now, that is all done by word of mouth. We didn't put anything out. We didn't say, hey, guys, come do this. And we had them out there. And you had these girls in their prom dresses walking around on the property, having their picture made here, then, getting on the sidewalk, walking over to the house, getting pictures made there. How can that be any more positive? Because you had over 250 teenagers and their parents.
Carl Jones just said it's one of the best things that's been done for public relations in the area. And not only that, but just think about this. One thing, those young people will remember that forever, till they go to their graves, that they were at Elm Springs, the Confederate, all the Confederate stuff that they saw. They'll always remember that. They'll probably get married one day and tell their children about it. So, you're actually touching generations yet unborn, and their parents were there. It shows that our polls that we've done in the past that show the majority of our Southern people still honor their Confederate heritage. That's so very important. And then you get the multiplier effect. A lot of those pictures was put on Facebook, on Snapchat, on whatever the young people
TikTok.
So it went all. So that is a wonderful multiplier effect. So that's great, and bravo for thinking of that. Bravo for doing it. It's just a wonderful outreach. I wish we could do it in every state. I wish we could put Elm Springs in every state and do that. Unfortunately, we can't. But
and I've got to give credit to Adam and Kayla Southern for coming up with this. This was their thought last year. They asked me about it, and I'm going, oh, this has got some potential. Let's do it. And then he thought, okay, let's go ahead and let's just open it up. Let's just not say, and just see if anybody shows. Over 250 people showed up. They did not go inside the house. They did not go inside the museum. They just showed up on our property to have their prom pictures made.
That's great.
And you know how people are about their selfies and their pictures and their social media. They were showing that last year we've gone from where we were to, I want to say we had like 60 or 70 people last year. And we go from that to 250. Where are we going to be next year? I mean, that is, I can't imagine.
That's great.
We're doing the right thing.
Okay,
If you don't believe that, let's move along.
7:41. Let's move along because I don't want to keep people like we did last night with the Louisiana Division meeting that we had.
No, yes, sir.
For almost 2 hours.
Well, yes, sir. And forgive me for diverging into that and spending so much time, but that's one of the most positive things that would do. I want to talk about very quickly the Friends of the SCV. This is one of those things where I'm pushing Friends of the SCV. If you have somebody that feels the way you do, sign them up for the Friends of the SCV. If they're not willing to do it right off the bat, buy their first year. And just see if they continue on. Bring people in who cannot be a member. Now, you know that there's husbands who are members of the SCV and their wives cannot join the SCV, but they can join the Friends. So this is an opportunity. If the wife's saying, what can I do to help? Sign her up for Friends of the SCV and continue. And that's just one of those things we need to push. We need to get that Friends as up where we were years ago. Now I'm going to talk about the cadets. I'm really pushing to have an event for the cadets at the National Reunion. I've already talked with Rick Little. We're going to schedule something for one of the afternoons. You're going to look at a lot more publicity coming out about this very soon, as soon as I get things locked down because if you want to bring your son and your grandson to be part of this, please do. If you just want to come yourself and find out what's going on, please do. But we're going. Last year we planned one and we backed off because we did not have we didn't think it was going to have a good participation. This year we're just going to have it. We're going to have it. And whoever shows up, we're going to talk about the cadets. And as soon as I secure that date and time, then I'll let y'all know further about that. I have news on the bricks and pavers. All right. One of the problems that we had was getting a good supplier. One of the suppliers we did have, we started using their bricks. And because they did not have enough clay in them, they were starting to come apart. So instead of having to do this stuff over long distance, I got to asking around. One of the people who was doing some work on Elm Springs, and he told me who to get in contact with. I have found a local brick supplier. It is 7 miles from my house, and they are supplying bricks. And I took them to who we were going to be engraving them, which is also local in Columbia. So we are getting the bricks local, and we're getting the engraving local. How about I give you a shot of what we got? We just got these in. And as you can see, let me get that right. Yeah. This is an example of the bricks because we wanted to see how they were going to do, how the color was going to do. And this is the bricks that we have picked out. They seem to go pretty well with just about everything that we have there on the property. But this will give you a look at the brick. Now I'm going to show you the paver. And you'll see what I'm talking about with the paver because I got an education in bricks. I never thought I would get an education in bricks.
Well, but at least they wasn't being thrown at you.
Well, yes, sir. That is true. Now, these are the pavers. You can see the size of them. What he told me he wanted to do was to go ahead and do as much carving on there to see how they were going to hold up. And as you can see, what we're doing is we're doing 6 lines, but he carved more lines because he said that the more you carve on it, you can determine how the bricks hold up better. We're going to have these at Elm Springs this coming weekend for the pilgrimage and homecoming, and you'll be able to see these. So it looks like all of our delays are now behind us, and we're going to have the right bricks. As you can see, they held up very well. I'm going to tell you one to look for. Let's see. My eyes don't hold up as good anymore, but you can see. You see the white specks on there?
Yep, I can see it.
You see like that one right there?
Yep.
That's gravel. And when they get a lot of gravel in them, that means they don't have a high enough clay content, and they will start to split. We gave him 2 of these bricks, and he said they did wonderful. So the bricks are going to be good to go. Thought I would let you know the delay is over. And now, because we had several delays. First delay we had was, we thought that we were going to be able, our first agreement was to put them at the equestrian statue because we thought the plaza was going to go up pretty soon. We don't know when the plaza is going to go up. And instead of
18 months,
sir,
within the next 18 months.
If you do that, I will hug you.
We're going to raise the money and we're going to get it done.
Yes, sir. I love that. I love that. I love that. And I'm all for it. But the problem I had was I had people that ordered, and I've been holding on to their bricks or holding on to their orders because the first batch that we tried to order, they didn't engrave, and I had to send them back. And now, I asked everybody at National Reunion this past year if it would be okay to go ahead and start this paving, these bricks and pavers, where the memorial garden is, the Jeff Davis Memorial Garden, which is right off the Jeff Davis statue. And the body gathered in Reunion voted to do that. So since then, we have been fixing our supply problem. The supply problem's fixed. I'm sure hoping that we're going to be having us some bricks down here real soon. So we got some on order, and the guy that's already doing our engraving says they're doing great. And I thank everybody for their patience. It just takes a while to get some of this stuff done when you start to deal with people over the internet. So I went local, and I had to find them, but when I found them, everything's going well. So wanted to cover that. I'm going to need to catch my breath for a minute. So I would like to talk about, since we just mentioned it, the 21st Century Confederate Heroes and the museum in Forest.
All right.
The floor is yours, sir.
All right. Well, Moose, if you'll find that slide that that Word document, one page there. Here we go. This is the Sons of Confederate Veterans Battle Plan for the 21st Century. And what it is, as you see, this is a video that Donald and I did explaining the 21st Century Confederate Heroes campaign. And what we're looking for is a minimum of 1,500 heroes, 1,500 patriots who will put up $1,000 within the next 18 months. You do that and we'll be able to pay off the bank mortgage for the museum and rebuild, reestablish. I'm not going to say reconstruct because I don't like reconstruction. That's a bad word. We're going to restore the Forest Plaza, and it's going to be better than it was when it was in Memphis. When we get through, Forest will be up on the pedestal where he belongs, and the plaza will be complete, and we'll have this bank mortgage off our back. Now, we spend and this plan was approved by the GEC. Now, this is something that we're really pushing. And I'll tell you, you don't have to come up with $1,000 up front, although we've had several people call and say, who do I make the check out to? So, yeah. But we have, and I'll tell you in just a minute where you can go. You can set up an easy payment plan, and you can start paying on it. But when we get 1,500 people who will say, yes, here's $1,000, or yes, I'm committed to making $50 a month for the next 18 months, we'll take care of that. We will have the money to pay off this bank mortgage. Now, we are spending, the SEV, National SEV is spending your money, dues paying members' money. We're spending between I get different numbers every time I ask, between $8,000 and $12,000 a month to service that mortgage note. Well, that's money that should be used for other things if we can get that mortgage payment taken care of. And when we take care of that, well, at the same time, we're going to have the Forest Plaza taken care of. And we're going to have a big celebration when we get that finished. But the idea is that we need in the 21st century to be, like Commander Boshers said, we've got to be positive, proactive. We've got to be telling our story. We've got to have a massive nationwide public relations campaign promoting the South, the Southern heritage, the SCV. Our aim is to get this mortgage paid off and use that the majority of that $8,000 to $12,000 a month in this massive PR campaign. We will be able to double and triple the membership of the SCV. Listen, if we just add another 5,000, that'll make a tremendous difference in the cash flow and the movement of money. But our aim is to double and then triple the membership so that the SCV will be to Southern heritage what an organization like the NRA is to the Second Amendment. When someone has a question about the South, about Southern heritage, about our monuments, about our flags, about Arlington, they'll first come to us. The national media will be coming to us and not going to some history professor who's going to apologize for the South and the war being over slavery. We will tell the truth. But we can't do that until we get this mortgage note paid off. So if you'll go to the Rumble video, it's about a 15-minute video. Donald and I set it up so it will explain in more detail than we can here in 2 or 3 minutes about the about the 21st century Confederate heroes. Now, for being a hero, you're going to get a neck ribbon, navy blue neck ribbon with a beautiful medallion medal on it. I don't know, Moose, I don't know if you can go to scv.org to the donation page. Can you do that and flash it up? Because if you do, you'll see on the left-hand side, you'll see a photograph of that the medal that'll be on the ribbon. Now, that neck ribbon goes to everyone who supports, pays into, and completes the payment of the 21st century Confederate heroes. Now, if you pay the $1,000, of course, you're going to get the neck ribbon right away. If you started on a easy payment plan, as soon as you make that first payment, you're going to get your neck ribbon. I want to see a lot of people at National Reunion with this neck ribbon on, because it's something to be proud of, and it helps us to promote the effort. So you'll get it as soon as you first make your first installment on it. It's still the property of the SCV until you complete the payment, but we're going to trust you to complete the payment. We're not going to send a sheriff out to repossess it. We want you to complete the payment. We can do this in less than 18 months. We can have Forest Plaza completed in less than 18 months if our people will get behind us. Yeah, here you go. Thank you. As you see over the left-hand side, that's what the medal will look like. Have we ordered any yet, Commander? He's muted, so that's all right. But
yes, well, okay, they have finished with the dye, or he's actually had to outsource this dye to somebody else because of, I'm not going to say about the detail, but the finish that we're wanting on it and the covering that we're going to have over the top of Lee, Davis, and Forrest.
Yeah.
And Moose, just so you know, I sent you an email with just that JPEG of the medal, in case you need that for the future.
Well, this is really great. So the way you get to this, go to scv.org, go all the way over to the right-hand side. You'll see the Confederate flag, and it says Donate Today. You click on that, and it'll bring you up to this donation page, and you can see the medal. It's a beautiful medal. You'll be very proud of it. You're creating a legacy that your great-grandchildren will point to that and say, my great-great-grandfather, when the woke people, the neo-Marxists, was trying to destroy the monument and tear things down. They took a stand, and here is the medal that he got for doing that. So this is a legacy that you're building for yourself. Now, there's a lot more in addition to just the medal, but we don't have time to explain it, but it's explained in the video. Also, if you want to see it in writing, you can go to SCV.org, click on the Confederate Legion logo, and then you'll see it says on the 21st century at the Confederate Legion website landing page, you'll see 21st century Confederate heroes is at the top in white. Put your cursor over it. It turns from white to really dark blue. It almost disappears. Click on that, and it'll give you a 3-page write-up on this, because there's a lot more that goes with it other than the neck ribbon. We're going to have a walkway of 21st century Confederate heroes from the museum towards the Forest Plaza. You're going to have a large paver, much like the one the commander was holding up just a minute ago. And you'll be able to put your camp on it, your name, your ancestor you're honoring. So there's a lot, and there's a book that we're going to have, a 3-volume set of books that's going to have pages detailing the people who gave to this effort. So this is a legacy you're building for yourself, and you're helping us to get rid of this bank mortgage so we can use this money to initiate a brand new SCV. This is an SCV that's on the offensive. We are taking the fight to the enemy. Sometimes we're going to have to react and file lawsuits, but we're wanting to win in the court of public opinion. Once we free this money up, we can do it. I think that's enough on that. We're running out of time. I could pontificate all night long, but please go to that Rumble, and there you see it, and you can view the video, and there's a lot that we have to offer. This is a great legacy that you're building for yourself, you'll leave to your grandchildren, but more importantly, 1,500, or if 15,000 want to join, that's fine with us. The more the merrier. But once we hit that 1,500 level, we'll be able to get rid of that mortgage. I think, what is it about 1.1 million now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We've been paying it down. I mean, it's not like we can't handle it, but I don't want to spend the next 5 years doing that when the woke people are attacking us. It's time for us to attack them, by God. And once we start free up this money, we'll start using it to initiate a massive nationwide PR campaign, and that's going to help the divisions recruit and retain. It's going to help the camps recruit and retain. So that's enough said on the 21st century Confederate heroes. Please look at that video or go to the website. Once again, scv.org, click on Confederate Legion, click on 21st century Confederate heroes, and you can see a write-up. Really, it's better to go to the URL and listen to the two brilliant Kennedys. Well, anyway, the two Kennedys anyway talking about it. Go ahead.
Well, I'll go ahead and I'll pin this into there. If you are willing to come to National Reunion, because we're going to have some of these neck ribbons and the giga and all of that at National Reunion. If from the floor of National Reunion, you're willing to pay your $1,000, I'll put the neck ribbon on you from the floor during National Reunion.
Woo-haw.
So if you say, I want to do this, you can come and do it. You can sign up for it. Then you can fill out all that, because it's not just one thing. Like you said, there's several things that you get. But I will put the giga on you, the neck ribbon. We call it giga. I've got one here. We'll put the giga on you from the floor during National Reunion. So this is one of these great things to do it. Now let's talk about the money. I can't believe Adam Southern just said that. Okay. Yes, for some of y'all, I will need a step ladder. but I'll bring one. How about that, Adam? Or I might just stand on your shoulders and do it. How about that?
Quickly, I see Roy Hudson says he can't find the payment option, only one-time payment. Have we got that payment option ready yet?
I thought that it was. Obviously, it's not. I'll look into that tomorrow and we'll update it.
Adam,
I thought it was all ready to go.
I did too. Adam, try to get back with Roy Hudson so we can find out.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it worked out. There's a kink in there somewhere, and we'll get it taken care of.
And can we get the URL sent out on the Telegraph so people, if they don't pick it up off of this, they can pick it up off the Telegraph for the Rumble video?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's no problem at all. I've got it off of here. What I'll do is, hey, Moose, send me the link on Rumble, text it to me. And then what I'll do is I'll put something out on the Telegraph for that. Yes. And 21st, now let's talk about the monies that he was talking about earlier. Our monthly payment, and it's in the budget, is being taken care of. It's just a tick under $13,000. Now, what we're servicing varies or has varied because it used to be our interest each month was like $7,500, and the more money that we have paid, that's reduced it because we've gone. When we first started this was at 2.5, and about this time last year we were at 2.3. Right. So we've gone from 2.3 to 1.1. So, with that kind of deal, we're paying, we're not paying as much interest. We're paying more on the principal with each payment. And that is the reason why how much of the debt changes, because, if you get it down enough and you're making a payment, a lot of it, if all your interest has done been paid, you're paying a lot on just strictly straight to principal. So,
but we do have a deadline to renew the mortgage in July of 2025. And I'll guarantee you the interest wouldn't be as low as what we got now. So that's an important thing to remember too.
No, it's 3.75, I think is what we're paying now. And we're not going to get that again.
But we're not going to worry about it. We're going to pay this off.
Well, we need to get this off of us so they can do, we can do what we need to do as an organization.
Right.
Because it's like you, and if your house payment and your car payment are eating up a majority of your income, it's hard to take your kids to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get your house off of you or your car off of you, you can squirrel back a little bit of money and take the kids to Disney. Or you can get a new roof put on the house, or you can put a water heater in. You got these things that you can do. And this is just freeing up this debt so we can get busy with taking care of our organization. And I want to thank everybody who has contributed, and we have had people that have been very generous, and I thank them. We're already at 8:04. I'm just going to talk about some upcoming events real quick. This coming weekend, we have the Army of Tennessee workshop that is going to be held there at Elm Springs. It's going to be held in the community room of which was the old conference room. I'm calling it a community room because we rent it out and people are using it. And I'm putting Nathan Bedford Forrest and King Philip back up. I'm calling it a resurrection. We are resurrecting them. So that's what I'm calling it. All right. So on May the 4th, we have that. It's going to start at 9 a.m. We'll go all the way up until, 10:30, 10:45. Take a break because at 11 o'clock, we have the pilgrimage and homecoming. And we're actually having it there in the driveway right there by Forest on King Philip. Make sure you bring you a chair to sit in. Make sure that you bring you a drink and a snack or something like that. No alcohol. But if the Captain James Madison Sparkman UDC, which is the local UDC chapter, they're going to have sausage biscuits and things for sale that morning. So if you get there earlier and you're going over the grounds, you will be able to purchase some food from the local UDC. And I want to thank the local UDC for doing that. Then we'll have the pilgrimage and homecoming. If you're wondering what that is, we'll have music being played, Strings of Secession is going to be playing. And then President General Jenny Wadowski of the United Daughters of the Confederacy is going to be the keynote speaker. And then when she has spoken after that, we'll be lining up to bring floral tributes to put there at the Nathan Bedford Forest on top of King Philip, astride King Philip. So if you can, come and attend that. Now, the grounds will be open after that for you to be able to tour. The museum will be open as well. So visit the museum. Don't know how much of the house is going to be open since we're having that event in the conference room. But, if you could find one, I don't know if there's going to be anybody there that's going to be giving tours. So I don't think the house is going to be open, but the museum itself will be. All righty. June 8th, Fairview, Kentucky. That is the Army of Tennessee event at the Jeff Davis Historic Site. There we go. That's how you can get there. That's the address. That's the whole thing. I want to thank Kyle Thompson, the Kentucky Division Commander, for the work that he has put into this. Him and Army of Tennessee Commander Jimmy Hill have worked together, and this is going to be a great event. And I'm looking forward to it. And you can see it's on, it's the second Saturday in June from 11 to 2. And if you can make it to that, now I know a lot of them are not going to be able to, because first 2 weekends in June, there are a whole lot of division reunions going on. But if you have some time and you want to come on up there and see that. Wanted to put, I don't know if Moose has a flyer for the Rebel Rouser Cruise In. That is something that National holds. It's going to be the weekend after National Reunion. Now, Adam, this is our third annual. Adam come up with this idea, and these are not SCV people. These are hot rod. These are guys who like cars and car shows. And first couple of years, we have had a fantastic turnout. There you go. And we have had a fantastic turnout. And people have been going in to see the museum. It is really just, it's one of those things where we're making ourselves known to the general public and bringing as many people in as we can, just like we did with the prom pictures. We're doing this with the cruise in as well. And want to thank Adam for the work that he's done with that. If you're into cars or just want to come see Elm Springs that day, the home will be open for tours and the museum that day. So now that we're talking about that, let's talk about the days that the museum is going to be open. Of course, this coming Saturday, May the 4th, it's going to be open. Adam tells me that the first weekend in June, it is going to be open as well. So that'll be June the 1st. Now, it's probably not going to be open again until we do the car show, which is at the end of July. So you're going to have a big gap between June 1st and July 27th. But make sure that you come on out and see that. That's some of the things that we have going on there at HQ. There's going to be some more announcements. We're just kind of running out of time, and I'm running through things real quick. Now, Arlington, everything's going on up there. All I can tell you, it's not over yet. I'm going to bring on our Judge Advocate in Chief, Ed Phillips, and we're going to have another conversation about Arlington. So everybody is up to date with everything that is going on with that. Just know that it isn't over with yet. So we have a reunion coming up. Does anybody know about it? Charleston, South Carolina. I've got an update from Rick Little. And again, I want to say it's Rick Little, not Rich Little. All of us know the old comedian that did the impression, Rich Little. It's Rick Little. Okay, this is what he has to say. Secession Camp 4 is looking forward to hosting everyone for our 2024 National Reunion. Unfortunately, the host hotel will begin renovations July 1st of 2024. Some of those who have reservations will be relocated to a satellite hotel, and busing will be provided back to the host hotel. So if they have to move you, they're still going to bus you. Sorry about that. That's just what they're doing. Remember a few years ago in Kenner where they sold the hotel and we had to go to another location? That happens sometimes. The host
committee in Hot Springs too when we were there.
Oh, yes, sir. They were working on that as well. Yes, sir. Talking to one of these guys, it never stops. You know, they're constantly having to rebuild something. The host committee will also be helping with transportation to and from the host hotel. So you're going to have plenty of options to make it back. If you've had to be moved to a satellite, there'll be plenty of opportunities. And as he says on here, this will not interfere with the business meeting or any tours, meals, or banquets. So it's not going to affect anything. I am sorry for those that will be that have to be moved. I'm sorry about that. It's just one of the things that's happening. I look forward to seeing everyone in July. And the next year, we're going to be, has anybody ever heard of a place called Texas? Well, that's where we're going to be. The 2026 reunion website is under construction. It's going to be we're using the same vendor who created the 2024 reunion website. Now, this is from Texas Division Commander Michael Hurley. The domain name for the 2025 reunion will be scv130.com. The website is not finished, but it's in process. So occasionally just go and check. And if you see it up, you'll be ready to go. They're expecting that to be ready to go within a few weeks. I'm delighted to announce that the registration form for the 2025 reunion is now complete. This was a complex task involving coordination with various vendors and the careful management of contracts and deposits. I have attached a working copy of the form for your review, but where that's going to be taken a look at, and that will be going out later. The reunion medal has been designed and 400 medals have been ordered. They're going to do 100 limited edition medals, and they'll be made of silver and limited number. The limited edition ones will be for sale for purchase at the 2025 reunion in Charleston. They are going to be doing debutantes at the 2025 reunion. And there will be a debutante form that you'll be seeing shortly. They are working on the agenda. So you will be finding out a lot more about Texas coming up here very, very soon. Yes, sir.
I see Lieutenant Commander Kennedy said, will we be able to register for Houston in Charleston? So good.
Yes, good. Yes, you will be. They'll have a table set up. You'll be able to go ahead and get registered. If you want to buy these limited edition coins, you can. He was just letting us know that everything's moving along and to keep a lookout for the website and the debutante registration form and the reunion registration form. So you'll be seeing all that very shortly. Now, we need to talk about 2026. You hear that, crickets? You hear that, nothing? We don't have a 2026. We have some people talking about a 2026. But we do not have anything past Houston, Texas. We do not have anything past 2025. We need 26 and 27. Right now, when we go to Charleston, the reunion, the body gathered in reunion should be voting on where to host the 2027. We don't have 2026. Right now, we're 2 years behind. So if you are thinking about hosting a reunion, I know South Carolina has talked about it, and I hope that that comes and we get to have it there. If you're thinking about hosting a reunion, we need you. And we need you to step up and say that you're going to do this. We have people that will help you. Do not be strangers about any of this. There have been some people that have, Michael Hurley talked about David White, who was, David was the one that put the one on in Canner and a couple of years ago. And David did a fantastic job. And so David has been helping Michael get this done. So if you're willing to host one, you can get people to help you do it. We have a whole group of people that will help you do it. We have pros really in this business. You start talking about Chuck Wren and Joe Ringhofer, they know how to put a reunion on in their sleep. So they have forgotten more about how to put a reunion on in the last 5 minutes than I'll know. So don't feel like you're going to be out on an island by yourself, and you will have plenty of people that will step up and help you. You will just have to provide some boots on the ground. And I have heard some of them that have put on great reunions said, we only did this with a half a dozen people. And I've heard some of them say, we took 20 and 25 of us to do it. So it depends on how many people you have working to do it and what assets you have in front of you. But don't be scared and don't run away from this. This is an opportunity because we don't have anybody past 2025. I'm done.
When was the last time we had a reunion in Missouri or Kentucky or Virginia? I'm just thinking of places that I haven't been. I'm being selfish,
Well, we were in Richmond in 14. Wasn't that? Or did we go to reunion? We went to Vicksburg in 13. We went to Texas in 16, and we went to Dallas in 16. Where did we go in 14 and 15?
I don't know where I was 14 or 15 minutes ago. So
yes.
I'm not the person to ask. But
there's some people that rattle this off top of their head. Yeah.
My point is there's a lot of places that I haven't been. I mean, they may have held it and I was out of pocket at that time, especially back when I was not retired. And you couldn't cut and go all week. But nonetheless, there's a lot of places that I would really like to see. And look, we're running 18 minutes overtime. Let's finish.
Yeah. Ryan Rogers said Charleston was 14, and yes, he is, because this is the 10th anniversary of that, and Richmond was in 15. So, when were we in Lexington, Kentucky? I see your brother put that out there. I don't know when we were in Lexington, Kentucky the last time. I know that there's places out there can host that can host us, and some camps out there that can do it. And I'm just going to say this: camps or divisions, brigades that want to put this on. I hate to say this, but this is an opportunity for you to be able to make some money. Because if you talk to the people who have hosted these and have been successful, this is an opportunity as a fundraiser. And that is what some of them use as their fundraiser. They'll host a division reunion or they'll host a national reunion. Don't be embarrassed to ask these people who have hosted them. I mean, I'm just saying, don't think, well, I don't know if I can get enough people to do it. Well, there's going to be people that are willing to help you. So I can rabble on about that, but like you said, we are 19 minutes over. I've talked way too long. Forgive me for drawing everything out the way I did.
Well, that's because you've got a Kennedy filibustering and taking up part of your time. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for being in on the chat. I'm sorry I haven't been able to. I've been keeping up with you. I hadn't been able to acknowledge a lot of the things people said. I see Donald says, when were we in? I remember being in Lexington, Kentucky, and Donald and I went to a reunion there, but I don't remember when it was. But nonetheless, there's a lot of great places that we can really have some good reunions in. I hope the camps will take that in mind. And I think, Moose, we have gone over our time. Again, thank everyone.
Yes.
Commander-in-Chief, thank you very much for the hard work you're putting in, putting miles on your car, putting miles on your body. We appreciate the hard work you're doing. We're doing our best to support you and support the Sons of Confederate Veterans. We're all in this fight together. Yes. And as Donald and I say every time we go, it's not the guys at the top that make the difference. It's the camps and the members in the camp. That's what makes the difference. None of this would be of any value if it were not for you folks at the local level. With
Yes.
that, y'all have a good Southern week, and I'll look forward to seeing you a month, the first Thursday of every month. And we'll see you then at Commander's Comment.
We only have 2 left.
Only two left. Then somebody else has got to take care of it.
Yes. Oh, Dr. Mitchum's here.
Oh, did Dr. Mitchell? Oh, he woke up and came in. Well, good. I hope he didn't hear us bragging about him. But
Well, we'll talk twice as bad about him next time.
I know it. That'll show him for not showing up. Moose, shut us off before we spend all night talking. God bless y'all. God bless the South.
Thank y'all.